What's going on, people? Welcome to Members Only. Hope everybody doing good out there. This is a little bonus video I would like to upload for y'all, just to have a discussion. I'm kind of reacting to a video I just ran across. I was just chilling, falling back, just watching YouTube videos. And there's a content creator named Joel Alexander Hobson. He seems like a cool old head. He's from Philly, just like me. So shout out to him. And he did a video called Preacher versus Wayne Perry, basically asking people who would they think will win. Well, I don't think it's a good comparison because it's like you can't compare the two different levels. And I was really shocked by the comments. A lot of people was picking Wayne Perry over Preacher. Now, of course, we'll have some biased people that will pick Wayne Perry because they're from DC. And then you have some biased people that will pick Preacher. Now, and I understand why both men could be mentioned in the same sentence. You have both men that extorted dealers. You had both men that was feared. They both used to extort people, but Preacher extortion game was at a high level. So, he saw lots of money compared to Wayne Perry. Now, if the two would have went to war, you would have to pull up a ton of a tape. Both men, great height, both men, great fighters. You have a one black belt, which is Preacher, and then you have a guy that used to box, which is Wayne Perry. Now, of course, it wouldn't have been a fist fight unless the guys have to. They was like locked up in a cell. But of course, they would have went to their gunplay. Now, if both men would have went to war, of course, the winner would have had to dominate these three factors, with the first factor being the brains, the second factor being the type of manpower they have around them, and then the third, of course, the bankroll. Now, it's kind of funny that we're comparing a boss to an enforcer, but it is what it is. With Preacher being the boss, he wouldn't even have to do the dirty work himself. He had men around him that was willing to do anything for him. When it comes to Wayne Perry, he had men around him, but they wasn't willing to go as far as what the guys in the Preacher crew would have went. Preacher was a smart guy. He was very intelligent. Of course, he had that mouthpiece. He can talk himself out of anything. He could have represented himself in court. He was a good manipulator. He was very good at concealing his intentions. He was very good at making you feel good and then finally strike when you least expect it. He would also use his charm to get close to people and also use his charm to get all types of information. And that's very important, especially moving around in the streets at the rate he was. And I'm not knocking Wayne Perry's intelligence, but Alpo was the brains. When Alpo came into the picture, that's when Wayne Perry started to move smarter. Now, when Alpo went to jail, when Wayne was still on the street, he went back to doing what he was doing before Alpo was in the picture. He was moving reckless, doing petty stick-ups, and I guess he got caught with some weight. And that kind of showed you that he didn't learn anything from Alpo. Being around Alpo, he should have put some money up. He should have been taking notes, and especially when it comes to judgment. When he was around Alpo, there's no way they would have sold some work to an undercover agent. I just can't see that happening. And having that business relationship with Alpo, he should have been able to take something from that instead of relying on another man's bankroll. And when it comes to the bankroll, of course, it plays a big role when it comes to going to war. Of course, you're going to need firepower, and of course, you could put a bounty on a person's head. It's more easy to move around with a bankroll, especially when you have a group of people. You're not going home, you're staying in hotels and switching cars because you're not going to be driving your everyday car. You're going to need money for bail money, or for you and your people's lawyer money. And we all know at one point Wayne Perry couldn't make bail. And with that being said, we have to question who was Wayne Perry extorting and how much he was seeing off the extortion. Now, we all heard about the Preacher crew happens, and they wasn't asking for no $20,000 to $30,000. They was asking for 400, 500K. So that tells you right there, they was doing this at a very high level. Now, when it comes to going to war, what's more important than the people that's fighting side by side? Now, Preacher had a cult-like following, and he had people that was willing to do anything for him. Now, you had guys and females that was so loyal to Preacher that it was starting to get a bit creepy. He didn't just have soldiers, he had guys that worshiped him. They looked at him as a king. They used to call him dad. Come on now. And I promise you, he had grown men calling him dad. Who wants to go to war with a group of people like that? And they would do anything for him. They would die for this guy, man. And I guarantee you, Preacher wouldn't have to lift a finger going to war. When they say beef ain't nothing to a boss, that's true. He can go on vacation until the war is over. And Preacher did have some land down south. Now let's talk about the type of men that Wayne had around him. Well, first, just Alpo alone is a no-no. Alpo, he was the type of person to just cross anyone, and we all know that. We heard all the stories. He'll murk his friends. He'll cross anyone for that dollar. Now, what if Preacher approached Alpo with an offer he can't refuse? Now, some people might say, oh, well, that's Alpo. He had his own money, so he don't have to do that. Well, he had his own money when he murked Rich. So, what you saying? And people crack me up when they say Alpo was out here playing chess, and he was smart, and he was outsmarting people, and he was doing this, he was doing that. How hard is it to someone that's close to you? Anyone could pull a trigger on a friend. you're close. You see them all the time. So it doesn't take a genius to cross someone that stabs someone in the back. Like, people making it seem like he was so militant. Like, oh, he was so strategic. Like, he never got the drop on the enemy. He was his friends. Like, he was people that you're close to. That's just like waiting for the person you're close to turn their back, then boom, and then you walk off saying, this is chess, not checkers. I'll tell you one thing, Alpo was out here playing checkers. Now, he may seem smart to someone that's dumb. The Demencio hit came with a smile and a handshake. Richard Porter, that was someone that was close to him. Tank, that was someone he did business with. Big Head Gary, that was someone he was close. He was kicking it with him on a daily. But anyway, Wayne Perry didn't really have loyal men around him. His own crew didn't bail him out. His own crew didn't want him out of jail because he used to prey on them. So that just tells you right there, Wayne Perry didn't have good people around him. He didn't take care of his people. He wasn't treating them good. So who's gonna be loyal to that? And you have to understand what you're going up against when it comes to Preacher and the crew. You got a guy that's a cop, first of all. So you know what that means, right? He has access to police records. All you have to do is run your tags and see what address match up to it. And then they got to drop on where you live or where your mom live or whoever's address is under. Now, does Wayne Perry have something like that in his crew? I don't think so. You had a guy that had military background that was very strategic when it comes to going to war. Does Wayne Perry have anybody like that in his crew? No. You remember what Shaka said, right? When Malik went after someone, he never missed. And he said he had a passion for it. Now, Shaka is Preacher's son, by the way, if you didn't know. But the Preacher crew will follow guys for days, switch cars up, take pictures. They'll move like the feds. So who's going to war with that? So, yeah, I think Preacher got this one. That's facts, man. If I had to pick someone, I'll pick Preacher. That's just my opinion, man. Preacher had the brains, Preacher had the money, and Preacher had the manpower, and the type of loyal soldiers he had with him. Come on now. You don't go against that. But y'all make sure y'all let me know in the comments, who do y'all pick between Preacher and Wayne Perry? Now, if you pick Wayne Perry, let me know why, because I can't see nothing. I really don't see any advantage. I don't see no advantages on Wayne Perry's side. I see most of the advantages on Preacher's side. So don't forget to let me know in the comments. Of course, hit that like button, do me a favor, turn the notifications on, and you already know, if you're new, subscribe, hit the playlist for more fire content, become an upper echelon member for exclusive content that YouTube won't allow me to show. And don't forget to hit the links that I post on here on Spotify, because I do have a Spotify podcast, and that's on fire, yo. Like 30 minutes if you want to drive, if you at work, man, just listen to the podcast. The last episode that I did was who had the best run between Isaac Hicks and Eric Von Zip. So I'm just breaking it down. So it's a 30-minute podcast. So matter of fact, I'm gonna pin the link to the podcast under this video in the comments. So all you gotta do is hit the link, and it's free, like, y'all always ask me, hey, when I'm gonna drop, or thinking my videos ain't long enough. Well, we got some on Spotify that's like 30 minutes that I don't talk about on here. So after this video, y'all got more stuff to listen to. Y'all can go on to Spotify, and it gotta be about an hour, like all of it together. It gotta be over an hour or so. There you go. You got something to do for the rest of the night. I appreciate all y'all, man. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next video. I'm out.